With our hectic lives, most of us don't have time to work, play with our kids, see our friends, do our hobbies, get to the gym, and make a healthy meal every single night. Not happening. So, this is why we look towards convenience foods. It doesn't matter if we're talking about oven ready pizza or door dashing burgers. We think that junk food is our ally because it's saving us time and money. I know for sure that I used to keep granola bars in my purse. Anybody out there used to do that? Food companies know that we're super busy. And they've positioned their unhealthy, brain triggering food as the path of least resistance. These quick, easy, and cheap substances, snacks, foods, whatever you want to call them, they're the perfect solution when we are short on time and we're hungry. Have you ever wondered why you can't stick to your diet and why you might have junk food nights in your food plan, even though you tell yourself that you're trying to lose weight? Do you think that this is truly just your personal failing? Lots of people struggle to stick to their diet and have junk food nights as part of their meal plan. It's actually the result of living in a world that has been fooled into believing that when it comes to deciding what to eat, convenience is the goal. Today, my goal is to help you to see that convenience is a trap. It's stealing your money, your energy, and most importantly, it's stealing your health. And then I'm going to contradict myself and say that true convenience comes from eating keto and carnivore. So we kind of do want convenience, is what I'm saying. We're going to take a look at how the system works. So this food system that we're in, so that you can see the tricks and then decide to eat healthy to make your life easier. Because ultimately, when life is easy, you feel better. Life is good. You can actually, so there is a way to make life easier, is the point I'm trying to make. I want you to think about the options that you have had in the last 24 hours, 48 hours. Each time you feel hungry, there's a drive-through that you're close to. There's a vending machine if you happen to be at work or in some kind of building. And honestly, it's embarrassing to call what we have grocery stores. The amount of snacks and treats and candies and pure junk that exists in every single aisle of what we call grocery stores. They even have junk to dip your fruit in the produce section. I want you to understand that none of that is accidental. These foods are engineered for immediate gratification with zero effort. You cannot get away from garbage. When companies spend billions of dollars to make a product with the exact combination of salt, sugar, and fat that lights up the brain and causes us to lose control and therefore overeat it, would it be fair to say that they're trying to get us to overeat it? When they bring us into their lab so that they can understand our habits and vulnerabilities, so that they can strategically place all of the foodstuffs that they make at eye level or at the cash register in the stores or beside the coffee machines at work, so that we compulsively grab them, is that a sign that they care more about us buying the product that they're trying to sell us than our health? Do you think maybe that's a sign of that? Now that I know that they design these foods to be overeaten, I'd say for sure they are trying to make us obese. That's their goal. But everybody will say no. Everybody's going to argue with me. No, they don't want us to be sick. If you make the food irresistible so that I will overeat it, and overeating it makes me sick, how can you turn around and say that your goal is not for me to be sick? Please take a moment and think about the last 24 to 48 hours that you have lived. Can you think of an opportunity that you had to have a healthy meal, but one of the junk food, highly excitatory options ended up on your plate instead? When my daughter was young, that happened to me all the time. I was so rushed and busy getting her to school and getting myself to work and then getting her from my mom's after work and rushing home that I was not taking the time to make sure that I was eating properly. The easy pop it in the oven answer that, by the way, I thought was healthy as long as it had some vegetables in the package was what I was choosing. Even in the restaurants where healthy options exist, Wellness Warrior, we can smell the delicious pizza and we can see the French fries. We know exactly what they taste like because we've had them before. We know how much better they are than what we're ordering. Because normally when we're trying to lose weight, we're ordering a salad. And that's another problem that we have, right? We order a salad. But I'm going to tackle that in another video because that's not what today's video is about. But we've been brainwashed to think that ordering a calorie small salad with a teeny piece of protein is the right answer. And then when we get home and end up binging on the ice cream or the cookies or the whatever, we're confused. Why? What we need to understand in this video, because I need to stay on track, we need to understand why easy access gets us when we know that food is making us fat. So we clearly know that the things we eat make us obese. And yet we keep eating the wrong things. Obviously, I'm the one putting the food in my mouth. So it's really easy for me to blame myself for being overweight, right? I'm eating the thing. We are constantly told that we just need some willpower. And then we could have a cookie like everybody else, right? And then if we just had that willpower, walk away from the rest of the cookies and we'd be fine. I want to know if you guys have ever heard of this thing called decision fatigue. When we are tasked with making decisions all day long, by the end of the day, we're so exhausted from making decisions that the quality of decisions we make, they're just horrible. They're terrible. We're not doing a good job for ourselves. Why are we making decisions all day long? Well, we're at work for somebody else. So this company wants to make money and we're over there helping them to achieve their goal. And then by the time we get home trying to achieve our goal of good health, we don't have the brain power to choose well. And I want you to understand that during the day while you were working for them, you might have been still level-headed enough to proudly resist the parade of garbage that came through your office, that was at your workplace, right? That you didn't touch during the day. But then by the time you're home at the end of your evening, sitting in front of the TV, finally with the opportunity to relax, you are having pizza for supper. Even if you have vegetables and healthy meat in the fridge because you thought forward about this decision fatigue thing and you at least tried to plan for a healthy meal at the end of the day, the thought of working for another hour to make that meal, you decide to order something. Your mind will default to the quickest, easiest, path of least resistance option. Because why? Because easy? Because the pizza tastes amazing? And because the pizza tastes amazing, even if you plan to just have a reasonable amount, how often do you end up overeating the amount of pizza you have? And then, of course, we'll say to ourselves, well, it's no problem because tomorrow I'll do better. And that's the lie that I used to tell myself all the time. And the worst part of it is that because I ate the pizza rather than eating the healthy meal, about 2 hours later, you're back in the kitchen looking for something else to eat because high carbohydrate foods get stored as fat as quickly as possible in the body to save us from the harm the sugar would cause in our body. Okay, so let's take a look at what's happening here. It's like if you're traveling to a destination and you can either take the highway or take the scenic route. The highway gets you to your destination in half an hour, 30 minutes, while the scenic route is going to take you about an hour. But that highway drive, short as it is going to use more gas, erode your tires, gum up all the oils and fluids in your car. You're going to get more dings on your car from the rocks that are flying around on the highway. Basically, your car is going to suffer more damage in the 30 minutes that it takes you to get to your destination than if you take that scenic route. That's going to take you half an hour longer. But you're basically pampering your car if you take the scenic route. That pizza that's going to arrive in 30 minutes is going to then raise your insulin. It's going to attack your cells with the seed oils and the low quality everything that it's made of. It's going to trigger your addictive eating, which, by the way, leads to you being in the kitchen 2 hours later. It's going to add fat to your body. It's going to increase your inflammation, Wellness Warrior. And basically, that pizza that arrives in half an hour is going to erase the fact that you resisted the parade of garbage at work earlier in the day. Okay, are you ready to look at how to get off the damn highway? I have some ideas for you. Honestly, keto and carnivore seem complicated when you learn about the diet, and I will give you that. I remember being confused about how the heck am I going to have a sandwich, for example, or make a complete meal without rice or potatoes, or I was confused. And like, what was I going to have for snacks? I couldn't, my brain was breaking. And remember, I'm the girl who never ate a fruit, and the only vegetables I ate were French fries and carrots. And if you don't know that, hi, I'm Violet, and I started this channel to save you from the food industry lie that says that you need to eat 7 servings of fruits and vegetables to be healthy. I lost 80 pounds on a keto diet, which did involve me learning to eat vegetables. You can watch that video here. My goal is to help you to lose weight and get your life back. I suggest that you subscribe if that's something that you're working on. Suddenly, when I started this diet, I needed to buy whole, unprocessed foods. Now, I know how to cook what I know how to cook, but eating keto meant that I was now cooking vegetables, right? I needed help. Luckily for me, I was able to reach out to my dad. He's a chef, and he gave me very simple advice that I'm going to share with you right now. He said, just use the spices you already use, the ones that you like already. They're probably going to taste good on the vegetables, right? You add a little more, you add a little less based on how it tastes. And he said, play with it from there. And honestly, that's all I did. I took the spices in my cupboard that I was using on my meats and in the sauces and whatever I was doing, and I just put them on the vegetables. And guess what? He was right. They tasted good. That's a chef talking, Wellness Warriors. They try to make it seem so complicated. But what my dad helped me to realize is that I make what I make because I actually like it. Chances were really good that it was going to translate to the vegetables. And of course it did. So fast forward to today, there are keto products all over the grocery stores. So convenience keto-friendly foods. How likely do you think it is that those keto-friendly foods are actually keto-friendly? I've known many people who have felt comfortable to start keto because those keto-friendly options now exist. And unfortunately, many of those options are just regular junk food with a keto label. What I want to point out is waiting for keto to be easy before you start, it really just sets you up to be manipulated. The people I know who tried these keto products in order to do keto eventually found themselves eating normal garbage. And honestly, the reason I think that happened is because, first of all, fake stuff never tastes as good as the real stuff. And companies are banking on that. They know that this version is not as good as the real version and you're going to end up eating it. Why? You remember what the real stuff tasted like. The second problem that I see is that the fake stuff still has too many carbs, right? And it's going to kick you out of ketosis, which is going to get you back to chasing because, right? The third problem is fake stuff still tastes sweet, and that engages our cravings and causes us to chase. The fourth thing I'm going to say is that I could keep going on with reasons and get into more details, but if that's something that you want to know more about, let me know and I'll make a dedicated video about it. But I'm sure there are many of you wondering how keto and carnivore can possibly be more convenient than junk food. And this is where we take the control back, Wellness Warrior. I've seen so many videos encouraging batch cooking that take all of your Sunday, right? And the logic there is you just have to give up Sunday to have an easier week. Okay. The problem there is many of us already have plans for Sunday. And for those of us who don't, likely they're free because they want to be free on Sunday. The other problem is that when you pre-cook food too far in advance, that leads to the creation of histamines. Histamines are best known for their role in causing allergic reactions. And although they have other roles in our bodies, my issue is when we cook food and let it sit for more than 12 hours, the food has built up enough histamines for some people to start reacting. And the longer it sits, the more histamines get built up. My suggestion to overcome these two issues is to cook simpler meals, Wellness Warrior. I want you to think about it. When we were ordering pizza or burgers, those are simple as all get out. They're not complicated meals. A piece of meat and a vegetable, if you want to get fancy, two vegetables, is more than enough to fuel you and to help you to feel amazing. And by the way, if you decide to bake that meal, then you only have a one pan cleanup if you do it right. If we want to tackle snacks, for example, Dr. Westman, Dr. Fung, and Dr. Ekberg really helped me to understand that snacking is actually part of the problem. Companies have us fooled into believing that we should be having 6 small meals a day, that somehow that's better than having, for example, one large one. But the fact is, 6 small meals that include carbohydrate equals 6 large insulin spikes. Even if you eat one meal that is high in carb, you'd only have one insulin spike, and that would improve your health. But what's even better than doing that? One meal that's low in carbs. The truth is, when you eat healthy food, you no longer snack because you just aren't hungry, because you aren't spiking insulin several times a day. Insulin is the hormone that tells your body to store what you've eaten away as fat. Again, that's something else that I can make a video about if you're interested. But while we are at the beginning of our journey, I'm going to encourage you to focus on drinking some coffee or tea if you feel snacky, or maybe even bringing some bacon or beef jerky or broccoli with you if you absolutely feel that you're going to be hungry and you're afraid that you're going to eat the wrong thing. Bring something with you, maybe even a can of sardines. Here's the truth. If you're actually hungry, you'll eat a can of sardines. And if you don't feel hungry enough to eat a can of sardines, you're not hungry. That's a sign that your cravings were pushing you to go get something to eat. If you say, nah, I don't want that, and then don't have anything else. Before you leave the house, I want you to check the menu of any restaurant you're going to go to. I would even take the step of calling the restaurant if it's a new restaurant to you. You want to verify that they're willing to accommodate special requests. So at the beginning of your journey, the minimum that you want is that they'll put the sauces to the side. Now, if that's not possible, but you're invited to some kind of event where, like there's family and friends and whatever, and you really want to attend the event, eat before you go, Wellness Warrior. That's your best option here. Then you can go and you either order coffee and that's all you have, and engage with your family and friends and just have a good time, or you eat before you go, and then you arrive after the main dish was already completed. Like, I would just call someone and tell them, you know what? Let me know when you guys are like almost through your main meal, and I'm gonna come for dessert. And just don't order dessert. Order some coffee. Again, have something that you can sip on. Plan for your health, right? That's the basic message I'm giving you right now. Plan for your health. This is especially important at home. You need to always have what you need to make a meal at home, because it's inevitable that there's going to come a day where you arrive home, and maybe because you had to work late, you don't have like a lot of time to make a meal, or maybe there was some kind of emergency, whatever, that maybe you forgot to take the meat out of the freezer. It could be anything. Having some eggs in the fridge that you could have eggs for supper, or bacon and eggs, or sausage and eggs for supper, something simple that you know will be satisfying and healthy. You need to understand that companies are ruthless in wanting our money while disregarding our health. So you need to be ruthless in removing the tempting garbage from your house. If there isn't tempting garbage there, then you're not going to be able to eat it, right? You absolutely need to win at home if you ever have any chance of winning outside your house in the real, in the rest of the world. I want you to understand that so far, there hasn't been anything that I've said that costs you extra money. Buy real food and eat that real food. That's all I've said. And as a matter of fact, if you do this right, you end up saving money because you're not buying garbage. So all the snacks and stupidity that you're buying, you're not buying them anymore. You're eating only one 2 or 3 meals, actual meals a day, you're saving on your grocery budget. That's the answer, Wellness Warrior. And that's precisely why this information gets hidden from us. There's not much money to be made when you're eating real food, right? You you eat the food, you get healthier, and companies lose their hold over us. There's nothing to sell. And that's why I don't have a sponsor, by the way. I'm going to point this out. Like, you've watched so many of my videos and you notice I never have sponsors. What I have is I have Patreon, channel memberships, and my supporter link that I have down below. That's my favorite one, my supporter link, because I get all whatever you donate comes straight to me. That's what helps me to make these videos. Companies hate channels like mine because they can't manipulate me into selling you garbage to line my pocket. The truth is, initially, it's hard to choose the healthy option every time, but it pays off so quickly, you wonder why it took you so long to start. But that's the benefit and a curse, right? Most people have such an amazing success with keto that they think they can just pause their diet, eat off plan, and then return to it whenever they want. I lost 80 pounds in 5 months. And people think that, oh, that was so easy if I just go back to the junk and I can come back and do that again. But you can't. We think we can get off the diet because that's what we're told, that a diet is temporary. A diet isn't temporary. That's part of the propaganda. That's part of the thing companies want you to believe. Because if you think a diet is temporary, you'll touch their junk again, and then you get pulled back in again. And if you've ever known anybody who tried to quit anything else, whether it be drinking or smoking or harder stuff, what you do know is that every time they fall off the wagon, it's harder for them to get control back. And food is no different. A diet is simply what you eat to stay alive, Wellness Warrior. What I eat to stay alive is carnivore. I do it every day because it's the healthiest thing that you can do. Now, you can click on this video to find out why I chose carnivore, but I'll tell you the truth, keto is how I lost all the weight, so that's a good option too. You need to pick the diet that you believe you can do and stick with long term. My suggestion, start with keto. So check that video out, which I'm going to link below after you left your comment, sharing how you plan to tackle your weight loss journey. Let me know down below.